Alrighty. So I met David back in October 2021 at Health Freedom for Humanity in Kansas City. And that was a life-changing event for me. And David and I have been chatting ever since. And I am so honored that he agreed to come onto my brand new little YouTube channel because he has opened so many doors and ideas for me that have had me questioning and also have had me put so much trust in me. And so I am grateful to you and thank you for coming on and welcome, David.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
So your journey, it has been so incredible to hear about and to learn from you as you've been, can I say, evolving over the past
Yes.
4 years. Jiminy Cricket, 4 years. So David, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about you and how you got here.
Yeah. It's actually been 7 or 8 years or so with the health journey. Well, I mean my whole life. But yeah, grew up with an interesting physical condition that they said was genetic, which I'm no longer into that narrative. But yeah, lots of physical challenges growing up and things, and then going through a lot of mental health challenges as well later on in adult life. And around 2018 or so, I started making some changes. Diet, movement, actually going outside was a new thing. And yeah, seeing some huge improvements, my mental health, my physical ability, yeah, my mood, just kind of my whole life changed there. And since
Wow.
then, I had been getting into sort of the holistic health, the alternative health, like all the different terms, um, learning as much as I could, seeing how much further I could go with that. Since then, I've been going to events, talking to people, hearing a whole lot of experiences that were, impossible or said to be impossible, of people reversing all kinds of conditions. That got me really excited, really curious. Like, okay, what else is possible here? And then I've just been going and going from there and learning, going to events in the last few years, meeting people, um, continuing to learn, and now working on applying that to supporting others.
That's amazing. So you had this huge awakening, I guess we can call it, way before most. So in 2018, you started implementing the smaller changes. How fast did you see an improvement with the getting outside in the sun and with the food?
Yeah, so the that part was really quick.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, keeping in mind where my baseline
Okay.
was I was drinking a whole lot of alcohol,
Mm,
staying up late, staying inside, playing video games, sitting in front of screens, computer stuff. And my diet was like lean cuisines and ramen noodles.
processed food.
So yeah,
Got it.
so so the baseline was there, and like the only
Easy.
way to go was up at
Yeah.
that point.
Okay.
So I had, I think it was 2018, blood work done, and some of the metrics, they're like, oh, these are numbers aren't in the right direction.
Okay.
Um, so I was led to a health coach, and we did like weekly calls and slowly making changes. Within a year, I got blood work done again, and it was significantly improved on all fronts.
Wow.
But the most important piece of it was how I felt, my direct experience. And so before
Blood work
this,
aside, just
yeah,
going
blood work, yeah,
on how you
yeah,
feel, and
yeah,
that was the biggest
yes,
awakening, I guess, for you.
yes. That is one of the messages that I want to share, of like, go from our own experience, not necessarily like getting lost in all the tests and things. But yeah, I was on an antidepressant for about 9 years.
Wow.
And then as I was making these lifestyle changes, I was also getting support for tapering that down. And I was very fortunate in that I was able to get off of that without a whole lot of side effects or issues.
That's huge. So do you think
Yeah.
it's the big picture that played a role in getting off of those? Because I know that's from my journey, getting off of them as
Mhm.
well. It took a lot of factors. So the sun was huge for me as well. And do you think it was getting outside, getting away from the video games, and I guess the food as well? The food makes such a huge difference in our mood.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The food, that was the main factor for me, I think. It's hard to say because it's like you're changing a lot of things at
All at
once.
once, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the outside piece, I remember my health coach was like practically begging me to take 5 minutes to go outside, and like I was resistant to that. And I remember one time she was like, "I'm gonna send you a dog just so you have to go outside." Like, I couldn't, there was like, why would you want to do that? So yeah, there was a lot of changes there, and I started to make the swaps on different materials and things. So yeah, that was a huge deal. I and I think that was a huge part of getting off the antidepressant was my mood was improving on its own, or not, through these changes. So then as my mood was improving, I could kind of taper back a little bit. And I was getting like supervised help with that as well.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, I think that makes it a little easier rather than like just going off of it and not
Oh,
making other life choices.
100%. That's almost impossible for most. It was for me. I had to do
Yeah.
the life changes as well. So I know a little bit about your background with Western medicine and how you grew up. So how did you find this health coach? How did you find this more natural approach and why did you turn towards a more natural approach at that point?
Yeah, so the growing up, yeah, I went to the Western medicine a lot, the allopathic doctors. They would always find something wrong with me, and then they would always want to do something about it, usually. So a lot of interventions, that kind of stuff, and then I like wouldn't feel any better afterwards. So there was kind of even as a kid that feeling of like this isn't really changing anything. Um, like I've had something like 9 teeth pulled because they were trying, my teeth don't line up. So, and I'm like, this didn't really fix anything. Like, it's still, my teeth still don't line up for touch.
Oh,
Um, and then just kind of going through those interventions as well. And then part of the condition that I have, my bones, I'll say were brittle, and so I would always, because they were too dense, is the
mhm.
story behind it, and I would regularly break my legs. I broke each collarbone once. Yeah, I broke each leg a few times. Broke my foot once, and it was doing simple stuff. I was not doing like daredevil things. Um, so constantly going through that,
And not
and then
better, not getting better. Lots of
yeah,
tests I'm sure were ran and
um, yeah, I think I was a little lucky in that I avoided a lot of that
okay.
because they just kind of gave up on me
Oh,
at some point. Not gave up, but they're like, oh, there's nothing we can do. Um, because like I didn't have braces or anything because like my teeth were just so all over the place that like there wasn't anything to do about it. So there's a little bit of a blessing in that I wasn't getting as many interventions as I could have been. Um, but yeah, and there was like a whole, yeah, I guess it wasn't until high school when there was like a plastic surgery conversation around like
wow.
appearance and all of that. Um, but yeah, I avoided all of that. And so yeah, I became an adult, and then I was just like, I'm not going to doctors anymore because I don't want to hear what's wrong with me. Um,
That
so
negativity, I'm sure
yeah,
just wears you down nonstop.
yeah. So I was just like, oh, if I don't know about the problem, then there's no problem. Um, So I didn't know that I had like that instinct of like this isn't working, but like I felt guilty about it because you're like it's so pressured of like you get a yearly physical and you get this and that and
That's
regular
the norm.
interventions. Yeah. And so like there's guilt and shame around it when you don't do it. Like what is
Yes.
it, so yeah, I just didn't go for a while and then yeah, I was struggling with depression for a lot of the beginning of my adult life, and a whole lot of things went down there
Okay.
that led to a therapist. And so I was seeing a therapist, and for a little while, or
While
for
you
a
were on
long while,
while you were on the antidepressants and
um, eventually she referred me to a psychiatrist,
okay.
and so that's where I got on that. And then as the years went on, I think my psychiatrist was kind of moving in that holistic direction or like the functional medicine direction.
Wow.
So years later, um, and this is when I still wouldn't go see a doctor like at all, other than the psychiatrist. And so as years went on, we would start to like switch to supplements and things and like herbs and whatever. And
That's amazing.
yeah, yeah, I was very lucky there. Um, and at some point, I was finally like, okay, because she wanted me to get blood work done because she was like concerned, and I wouldn't do it for a while. And then finally, I guess there was some spark somewhere that was like, I want to get off the antidepressant. Um,
A gut feeling, hopefully, maybe.
yeah, yeah. So then I went and did the blood work. She recommended the health coach, and then within the year, like it was significant improvement
That's amazing. So
there.
a psychiatrist recommended a health coach for a more natural approach.
Yeah.
That's huge, David. Holy
Yeah.
mackerel.
Yeah.
Wow. Gosh.
Yeah.
We need that name and number.
Yeah, really.
So that
Yes.
so that started your healing journey and then opened your eyes. So how did you go from the health coach to health freedom for humanity? So you started healing yourself naturally, and I guess that just kind of led into questioning everything else.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the I always say the lean cuisines did not make me lean. As the whole low fat thing and all of that. So it didn't work. And then as I changed to food and got a lot thinner, um, I had to go, what's up with this? Why am I doing the opposite of what I was told to do? And like things are working better. So yeah, I got really curious. Started, I got into like the biohacking stuff and functional medicine and a whole lot of different topics there. And then and then I found the Weston A. Price Foundation.
Okay, found them
Um,
first. Okay.
yeah, 2019.
Wow.
Um, the 2019 conference was in Baltimore, and I was in DC at the
Close.
time. And I
Nice.
didn't go because I thought they were crazy. Because they're like, I was getting into the biohacking stuff at the time, and like the biohacking people are all into like coffee and chocolate and all that. And Weston A. Price is like, no, or at least the foundation is like not into those things. Um, so I was like, wow, they're even, more backwards than,
Off the
the
spit.
biohacking. Yeah. Yeah. Um, and then yeah, but I bought the recordings of the talks at the conference,
Oh wow.
and then I was watching that in yeah, the beginning of the next year.
2020.
20 was that 2020? Maybe I'm a year off. I don't know.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, and I was like, oh, this is my people. Yeah, it must have been the beginning of 2019.
Okay.
So 2019 was the Dallas conference. So I
Okay.
did go to that one. And that was my first like main group thing. Um, I was also getting into the like I'll say sort of the more spiritual woo side of things, energy medicine, that kind of stuff. And and breath work and a few other things. There were different things in DC going on. But
Okay.
yeah, so I went to the Weston Price conference in 2019 in Dallas.
And that was
Starting from there.
and that was
Sorry.
the first time you met people in person that thought or more aligned with the natural aspect.
Yes, to that degree. I had
Okay.
actually there was I think it was 1 month before was the Take Back Your Health conference, which is in Northern Virginia, which a Weston Price chapter leader was putting on at the
Oh,
time.
neat.
And that's where I first met Sally Fallon.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, and that was kind of the beginning part of like starting to see those people. Um, the thing was like starting to hear other people's stories and yeah, the dramatic turnarounds and
The
the
healing.
devastating, yeah, and also the sort of devastating things that are going on. It was a little bit of a dark moment too.
The
When you
unlearning
first learn.
process.
Yeah, the like hearing other people's stories and especially with the kids and the things that they've been through, the parents and the kids, the families. Um, that was pretty rough. Um, yeah, and then so that conference, Weston Price, and 2020 happened. Weston Price conference didn't happen that
Okay.
year, but they had an event at Polyface Farm in Virginia, and it was amazing. It was 300 people in a hoop
Wow.
house, sitting on hay bales.
Oh, love
Um,
it.
awesome speakers. Yeah, everybody was smiling, and we're just floating afterwards. We were so happy to see each other.
Oh, I'm sure.
Um,
So when 2020 happened, the thing in spring, did you know something was going on immediately? Did you call it out like this, we're not doing this? Or what were your thoughts when that happened?
um, I knew something strange was going on. I think I knew in January, like I remember hearing some things about like, oh, they're kind of something's getting cooked up. Um, and yeah, I was having some emotional challenges February or so. Anyway, going through my own stuff and then this stuff piled
Just
on.
pile that on top of everything.
Yeah, yeah, and I got heavy into the research. I watched tons of videos, read books, everything.
Became
Got
informed.
really obsessed with it.
Okay.
Yes. Um, and yeah, so I knew something weird was going on in the beginning. I didn't know how weird it really was until much later. And I didn't really say anything to anyone. This was kind of on my own, isolated at the time. And like I was maybe talking to some people um, online, but like, yeah, I didn't have like anything going on in person. And
Okay.
I'm in DC, so we're all like, people were like running out into the street when I was walking on the sidewalk because they didn't want to be near me. So yeah, that was a really rough time. And yeah, to see that there's something that this isn't what we're told while also feeling really, really isolated about it.
Yes.
Um,
It was very
yeah.
challenging. Yeah. I was in DC at the same time and very isolating. So, but you were a part of the Weston A. Price at this point. Did you have friends through the foundation or because I know their views on viruses
Right.
and were you had your mind opened to those views at that time?
Yes, sort of. I Yes, but I did not have a complete picture until much later.
Gotcha.
So like there was something going on of like, oh, we're being poisoned or whatever. Which I don't even know how much of that is the case. But
There's so many things going around about this,
right.
even to this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. I remember it was Tom Cowan's video, one of like probably the earliest one that I saw, where he's talking about like the fish or the dolphins or whatever, being in poisoned water.
Yes.
Like, oh, they're all getting sick at the same time. Must be a virus. Like, oh, maybe you're poisoning the water. So I kind of had a hint of like, okay, maybe we're being poisoned more, but I didn't know like how deep this all ran. Like, I didn't know it was for every virus. I thought it was like just
Just
one.
one.
Like, oh, they're just doing this for the 2020 thing. Like everything else, was on the up and up. So yeah, remember reading Virus Mania, which I don't remember what year it came out, but it originally came out way before, not way before, but before 2020.
Okay.
So it was kind of nice to have that because some people say like, "Oh, this is a brand new thing," and like, no, it's not.
They've been doing this
Um,
for eons. And that
yeah,
actually, you suggested that book to me, and I started listening to it early this year. And oh my gosh, it breaks down everything brilliantly. Like I
yes,
really I need you to explain it to me like I'm a kindergartner.
mhm, yeah,
And that book is perfect. So I will link that Virus Mania.
mhm,
That's a good one. I haven't even finished yet, but I do know that they added the 2020 thing to the book as
yes,
well.
yes. I have the edition that doesn't have that,
Oh, okay.
so I feel like that should be worth something now.
It should.
Was ahead of my time.
Gosh.
Yeah, and then I read The Contagion Myth when that came out. Um, so like that made a lot of sense too. And what else did I look at? Yeah, a lot of Cowan's videos, a lot of Andy Kaufman's videos. Um, yeah, getting that broken down more and more, and then it started to make sense. I think it took like a year or something. It took me a long time to really wrap my head around the extent of this. Because it's like you get this little piece of it and you go, okay, maybe this one's wrong. And then you kind of got to expand and go, oh, it's all wrong. Like it's all nonsense.
Everything, our
Yeah.
whole history, and that is
Hmm.
you were there with me when I dealt with a lot of anger, and you were positive about all of this. Like I said, I was going through some of our Instagram messages earlier today, and you're like, "You'll come through this. Open your mind to this." And
I
that was
need,
fun to see.
cool. I need to go back and read that to myself.
They were positive. It was,
Thanks. Yeah.
I mean, gosh,
Yeah.
yeah, it was enlightening. Let's just put it that way. You were
Awesome.
light years ahead of me and had a lot of positive things to say as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's important to have those phases. I would love to get people past sort of the despair and the anger, but like I think we have to go through it all.
We do,
Um,
but having the community as well.
mhm.
When like I said, when I met you at Health Freedom for Humanity, I personally, being in healthcare, I was alone on all of this. But when I went to that symposium and seeing the hundreds of other people that were just like me, I didn't feel crazy anymore. And I hate that we even have that we feel that way, but having the community really, that was my positive encouragement that I needed to move on. So, speaking of community, I believe you were a chapter leader for Weston A. Price.
Yeah, for I think about a year. So I was the DC co-chapter leader with Holistic Hilda, who does the podcast, their podcast. Um, yeah, and I was communicating with people and answering questions and putting on events and things, which I had never really done before, so that was quite a new experience doing logistical things.
Getting out of your comfort zone a little bit. I know.
Yeah, yeah. So I was yeah, and I needed to make more friends and things. So that was like a big deal there. Also, I was like practically begging for events to happen. Um,
So you
because
created your
I Yeah, yeah. I remember I think I like emailed Hilda in desperation in 2020 of like, please, I need
Let's
something.
do this.
Yeah. Like, because yeah, I had not gotten by early 2020, I had not gotten as very connected with Weston Price people.
Okay.
So I was still very isolated there. Um, I think it was January, yeah, January of that year, there was a potluck, and I went to that. Um, and like I started to meet people, but I didn't make a whole lot of effort to like make sure I was connected to them.
Hmm.
And then it was like, oh, we're doing another thing in March, and then we didn't. Um, so yeah, I was not as tuned in or connected as I could have been at that time. Um, so yeah, I was practically like begging for events. Um,
And did becoming a
yeah,
chapter leader help with that and meeting new friends and
yeah, definitely, yeah.
good.
Made some new connections and things, and helped out people, and yeah, we had some good events. Um,
Now
Here
you
they're having great events now. I'm a little jealous. I moved away, and
aren't as
there are
afraid
no.
to come out anymore. And I think everybody was a little hesitant, even with Weston A. Price, to
Yeah,
get together.
yeah. So yeah, I was chapter leader 2021 to 2022, I think, or
Okay.
maybe all of 2022. Some, because yeah, I moved to Virginia in at the end of 2022.
And now you were in the tech world, or it
Yes.
still are?
So a little of both.
Okay.
Um, yes, I was a software engineer for about 15 years, back-end
Wow.
web developer. I was
Impressive
in, thank you.
career. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I was in two of the companies were business to business media companies. And in the middle there was an agency that worked for nonprofits. Um, so it's a really funny arc, and this is how the universe puts things together. As I was changing the health things, I was realizing that the things that the companies were doing or supporting was not aligned anymore. And like they were supporting the big food industry, big ag, big pharma, all the bigs, all the giant industries, because those industries make money, so it made
Yeah.
sense that they were helping them. Yeah, the healthcare, so forth. Like literally everything, like everything I am opposed to now, like that's what I was supporting. Um, and then even like the nonprofit one, it was for progressive nonprofits, which I was sort of progressive at the time, and now I am not. Um, so that's interesting. And so, yeah, I knew in 2019 that, hey, I'm making all these food changes. Hey, this fake food isn't where it's at, and this fake healthcare isn't where it's at either.
Hmm.
And so, like, having that disconnection of I'm working to support these industries, but I think these industries are harming people. Um,
Tough
so
realization.
Yes. So I knew in 2019 um, that like something was going to need to change there. And yeah, I stuck around until 2022. So I moved and I left the job at the same time.
Wow.
Um,
So three
yeah,
years you decided to implement this life-changing world decision,
yeah,
and you started pursuing passions?
yes. Yeah. So as 2020 rolled on, it was more and more incompatible.
Wow.
The work. But yeah, I mean, I was working from home. I technically was not allowed back in the office, although they were not checking, and I didn't go back in the office anyway. Um, so yeah, I worked from home and kind of gave me all that time to learn what was going on. Um, and yeah, and I at the end of 2022. I I think I woke up one day and I decided it was time to move.
Wow.
Like I knew. Like it wasn't scary. And then a few days later, I was like, I'm just going to leave the job too.
Good for you.
Um,
That's a
thank
huge
you.
decision.
Yes.
What I dream of.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was fortunate. I had plenty of savings to manage for a while, and I didn't entirely know what else I was doing. Um,
You took a leap of faith.
so I did, and I left behind the things that were no longer for me, so that I could be open to the things that are.
Wow.
Um,
Good for you. Gosh, that
Thank
gives me
you.
goosebumps. You're just you you went with your gut and it didn't feel right aligning with that anymore. So now you're choosing a life that does align. One way or another, you're going to figure it out. And how has that been going for you? What are you pursuing right now?
I wish I had a happier story. Still in between chapters, as I say. Um, yeah, so I've been doing some freelance tech work for different people within our space. So health and freedom and all that. So that's awesome. It's very aligned. I get to use my existing skills for things.
For the
And
good.
yes, and that's actually one thing that I'm doing a little bit of now is supporting people who were, I would say, kicked out or removed from the systems and are doing their entrepreneurial thing now.
Very
So I love that we are getting kicked out of the systems. We have been. They weren't aligned. We all knew it. To some, tiny part of us knew that like this isn't the thing. And, ideally we choose to leave on our own. Um, but a lot of people did not have the choice that easily. And so that part's sad and also like great. Like we need to be doing the stuff that's aligned for us.
and we have
So,
to get a little uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable. It's challenging, scary to leave what you know, but
yes.
I do think in the end it will be better, hopefully, for all of
Yes.
us. But it's a
Yeah.
journey.
We
It's
got to
a
keep the
journey.
yeah. We got to keep the faith.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, so helping people with that, and then yeah, I've been learning more about the natural health side, the terrain paradigm. I've been studying under the Bigelson Academy. This is Adam and Josh Bigelson. They've been in this world for 4 decades in the health space. Uh, they're even more contrarian than the Weston Price Foundation, in my opinion.
I
Um,
agree. And hearing
yeah.
them, they were at this last conference that I got to see you at,
Yeah.
and that was another just whole world that they're opening for so many people. And it so this is the holographic blood analysis with the
Yes.
Beagleston brothers, and they are. Well, I'm going to let you tell us a little bit
Yes.
about this. What are they doing? What are you doing with
Yes.
them?
So so the blood. Um, so this is like the exciting and magical part, and also it's only a small part. So I would say the big part is the philosophy of terrain or the
Okay.
terrain paradigm. So that's more than just germ versus terrain theory. This is like a
Oh,
whole bigger picture. So I'll get into that after the blood part.
okay.
So their father, uh, I guess discovered would be the right word, but he's standing on all of his teachers as well. He could take a drop of blood and look at it under a microscope in a certain way, and it shows holograms, non physical things, they're images, and they tell what the body is most concerned about.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
it's
huge. That's
yes.
that sounds like almost something futuristic.
Yes. And actually, I think it was Edgar Casey who said something about, the future is that you can diagnose with one drop of blood.
Wow.
Um, Although we would not use the word diagnose. We're not diagnosing
Okay.
here. Um, so
Analyzing?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, just we're not doing medical stuff here.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, not medical advice at all. Um, yeah, the so some of the things they would see like images of organs, and the thing is, the organ is not the issue, but the organ is like kind of asking for attention or support. So it would be like organs. They would see emotions, and they've seen the patterns over these decades, so that they can sort of decipher what the message is. So they see organs, they see bones, they see emotions. In one case, they saw a dental implant. So like not even stuff that's like native to the body, but it would say like, "Oh, I'm concerned about this dental implant."
Okay.
Um, they and yeah, one another example, women with IUDs, and they would see
The
the
copper
IUD, and
implant.
yeah,
Okay.
yes, which those things cause a lot of issues.
Yes. Foreign
Um,
object. How
yeah,
can that be good in your body?
yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, so they can take a drop of blood, they can decipher what the message is, and give you next steps on interventions and practices and things.
Now,
They
what
do
kind?
not,
I'm sorry.
sorry, they do not do interventions.
Okay.
They used to have a clinic. Their dad had a clinic. It got raided. Um, it was the whole thing. They used to be in Mexico at some point. They're not doing any of that.
Okay.
No treatments, interventions, anything.
Guidance.
Um,
More like.
yeah, so they give you homework.
Okay.
Um, and so that's one thing that I am helping with, is the like finding those connections, the practitioners, explaining the philosophy to people, because the education is the most important part.
Yes.
Because the idea is you don't need to come back and get your blood done all the time. Like maybe it's one thing for one, upstream cause, and then once you resolve that and you understand the philosophy, you don't need to like keep coming back.
You become your own healer in a way
Yes.
instead
Yeah.
of needing to
I mean,
outsource the help.
yes. Yeah, you are anyway. You're the only one doing the healing.
I love that
Um,
aspect. That's so gosh, that's like the most enlightening and empowering thing because I not to go on a tangent, but our minds are so powerful
mhm.
and just believing that you can heal or you are healed, um, that's a big tool. So
Yes. And I think it's pretty much required at some point.
yeah, it is. And
Yeah.
it can definitely take a long time to get there, especially I mean, even like with you, after being told there's nothing we can do or there is something wrong, we don't have answers. But then turning to this holographic blood analysis, that's a huge concept. So what kind of things are people coming to you or the Biggleson brothers with? What are they what's their initial question, or is it just any concern, any ailment?
It can be anything. They like to say they've gone from AIDS to zits.
Wow.
All the A to Z.
The whole spectrum.
Yeah. The majority of the things, as far as I know, were related to the C word, not the 2020 C word, but another C word.
Okay.
Um, so like sort of in stage dire situations,
Wow.
where people have gone to all kinds of other practitioners. They've done the holistic stuff. They've done allopathy. They've done everything they could think of, and it's kind of a last resort.
Okay.
Um,
They've reached the
so-
end and they don't know where else to turn. They've turned to every
right.
allopathic doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've tried everything. And so they would come for that. Uh, but now, it's more like, you can go for curiosity or for
Okay.
like more minor things. So I think they can get more of a variety of things. But yeah, all of the unsolvable, supposedly incurable, like all of those things.
Wow. I'm definitely, that is next on my list. Um, I've been on a journey myself, and I got to speak to the brothers thanks to you at the conference. And January, I told my husband, we're both doing this.
Nice.
Because what if it could be just something as simple as this, you know, to guide, because we all have these questions, what's going on? And according to them and you, the blood can show us. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes. So the thing that I am most excited about is the shows in order of operations or priority.
Oh, okay.
So when we, going through the holistic world, you learn that everything's dangerous and toxic and scary and all that. And oh, you need to do this and you need to do, this cleanser detox and you need to do this stuff with the dental situation and you need like there's so many things. It's exhausting.
And expensive.
Yes, and expensive. Take 100 supplements and do this protocol and do like all the things, and all the tests and yeah. And so for me, this shortcuts like almost all of that.
How ideal.
So yeah, because yeah, so once you get the priority, um, and I'm gonna say root cause, but I don't even like that term anymore because
Oh,
we're not
okay.
really at the root, because it gets overused in our space.
Yes.
And so they get to a point and you deal with that and like all of the other things kind of cascade down in terms of like resolving things. They use an example of a flowing river. And so they say a tree branch falls in the river gets stagnation and builds up debris behind the branch. And so a lot of these protocols, the cleanses, detoxes, all of that stuff cleans up the debris so you do feel better, but the branch is still blocking it, so you need to keep doing them. And so
Vicious
they're
cycle.
yes. And so they're, looking for what the branch is so that the river can flow.
Okay.
And so that I like the analogy and or the metaphor and they come at it from a number of different areas. And another piece that I think is unique, they talk about the physical a lot more. So we kind of get into, at least in my communities, we get into like the emotional piece. And the
Yes.
emotional piece is definitely the cause,
Okay.
but then they like to say it as when the symptoms show up in the physical, we also have to work in the physical.
Okay.
So the emotions set up blocks stagnation in the physical body, and also we can remove the stagnations and it will affect the emotional. So
Okay.
like it's working in all directions.
Now, do they suggest working on both at once, the emotional and the physical, or are they mostly working with the physical
The
aspect?
the physical will change the emotional.
Ah, okay. So
So
it's a
yeah,
ripple effect.
yes, this is like like if you get a really good massage or something and you start crying, like
Yes.
small releases of things. They
Okay.
also, this is also, I think, unique to them, is they're not, uh, they don't believe in the healing crisis. So, when there's like a giant, it could be an emotional release where it's like a huge emotional release, or it could be if you're doing a detox or something and you have like huge symptoms, like severe. And the holistic world will kind of say that as like, oh, that's, you're detoxing or whatever. It's a healing crisis. They didn't do those. They say you're pushing too many buttons or you're pushing the wrong buttons in the wrong order. Like you're
Overwhelming.
going too forceful. Yeah.
Okay.
So I like not forceful and I like not having to have a healing crisis. So like if it's not required, so yeah, they are very into gentle interventions, making sure to adapt to the individual. and, not force these things. So, yeah, with the body work, they like classical osteopathy, classical cranial osteopathy. Um,
Which is a
there
new
are,
term. What?
yeah, I got to get all the words right. Um, Most osteopaths now practice like allopaths because they had to get the allopathy training, the Western medicine training. So most of them practice like that. And so unfortunately, but the old school ones, the ones who actually believe in their thing, do hands-on manipulation.
Oh, wow. Like
Yeah.
chiropractor comes to mind. Is that,
Yes.
are they more?
Um, yes, it's not as forceful.
Okay.
It's kind of like they'll put their hands on you and you won't notice that they're doing anything.
Wow.
And this is more like, yeah, I guess I don't know the best way to describe it, but more like
Energy?
manipulating sort of the tissues and
Oh,
things instead
okay.
of like trying to move the bones.
Gotcha.
Because this is, and I'm not saying this about all chiropractic, but some chiropractic is like forcefully move the thing where it's supposed to go, and then it wants to move back because it was there for a reason.
Gotcha.
So like that needing to keep going and keep getting it moved back. Um, so there are, more nuanced chiropractors out there. So like I don't want to put them all in the same bucket, but yeah. So the way yeah, with osteopathy, there's also craniosacral, which is a tiny, tiny piece of osteopathy.
Okay.
And that's something that massage therapists can learn and do. So that's like another good way to get access to that without having to find an osteopath, which the good ones seem to hide. They're older.
Okay.
They have very old looking websites. They seem a little eccentric. Like it's weird. Um, and that's one of the efforts we're kind of working on is like, okay, how do we find more of them? How do we keep them from going extinct?
Yes.
And how do we, get people connected with them?
And
Um,
that's something you help them with.
I'm working on something for that. Like
Awesome.
I want to make more connections. We actually met one at the Weston Price conference who was in Salt Lake City.
Wow.
And I was like, this is one of the first times, maybe the second time I've met one in the wild. Because I go to places and I meet chiropractors everywhere.
Yes.
I had only met an osteopath this year. Um, they don't seem to brag about their work very much either.
Mm.
So, one of the stories, uh, they can move teeth without surgery. Like
What?
they do some kind of manipulation, and the teeth will move back to where the teeth wanted to be.
That's incredible. Now,
Yes.
have you seen
Um, it's a funny story.
one?
So I saw one in 2019, which my psychiatrist actually referred me to,
Wow.
but she was totally an allopath.
Ah, okay.
It was actually, so this would be a good warning sign. So this is when I got blood work the second time
Okay.
with this osteopath. And we did have like a 45-minute talk, so it was nice.
Mhm.
Um, and she said I had the best blood work of like all of her patients or something like that. And I had just gone for the first time, so I'm like, wait a minute, you can't really help me if you think I'm like the best patient ever already. Um, so I should have left at that point.
Oh no.
Um, yeah, and then yeah, she gave me some advice that I was already not going to take,
Gotcha.
like sunscreen and low fat and all that.
Oh no.
Um,
So opposite
right,
of what we're
right, yeah.
now
So
doing.
what I was doing, I'm like, I've been eating bacon for the last year, so if my blood work is significantly better, like things aren't working. Um, yeah, and then it was actually the only time as an adult that I consented to a certain intervention. Um, yeah. So,
Didn't yield what
because
you were hoping.
yes. Yeah, the thing that we can't say.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, uh, that was interesting.
So
Because
not
yeah,
quite.
I wasn't fully aware of that problem at that point.
Well, that
Because
was
I was like
2018,
kind of
right?
getting into, yeah.
Yeah,
So I was
that
kind
was
of getting
early.
into, yeah, um, the holistic world, but I had not examined that topic yet, the other V word. Um, and I was like, oh, it's an osteopath. They're kind of holistic or whatever. And like, no, they're kind of not
Ugh.
for the most part. Um, so that was interesting because like all the rest of my adult life, I just didn't go to doctors. So like I never did that. Um, I remember being like afraid of tetanus for a while. Of like, no, I hadn't gotten this, and now I'm gonna like I'm in the city, like whatever. Um, so yeah, there was that. That was the one I went to,
Uh,
um, way back when, and then I was like, okay, all osteopaths are terrible. Um, and then yeah, and it wasn't until last year learning from the Bigglesons that word even came up again, and I go, oh, okay, I need to re-examine this.
there's different.
um yeah, I have not been to one since then.
Okay.
I'm a little bit on a break from practitioners right now.
Understood.
So
Sometimes we just need to take that break, reset,
yes.
do some soul
um
searching.
yes, so I and then there's only a few that Adam and Josh recommend, and they're not nearby.
Okay.
And I have a very unique physical situation, so I'm a little bit more discerning when it comes to who I'm going to let do physical manipulations on me.
100%. Yeah.
Because yeah, I've had uh, I've had chiropractic interventions that weren't awesome.
You
Um,
have to be cautious. Everybody has to
yeah,
be cautious, but
right. So, there's
that's
like a
on
whole
hold right
relationship.
now.
Yes, there's a whole relationship that needs to be built, especially with the osteopath. Like, you need to ask them certain questions and kind of interview them.
Okay.
Um, Make sure that they do body work. Make sure that they're not recommending stupid things. Um, there's a process there, and I'm just not ready to do that interview right now.
Deep dive into
Um,
that. Understood.
yeah, yeah. If at some point maybe I'll travel to go to the ones that they like,
After
but
research.
yeah. So that because I would rather like if there were ones that other people actually recommend, then I'm more okay with that. But yeah, it's kind of hard to do that for the first time too because I don't know how to discern like if it was good or not.
So just relying on others' journeys with them, hopefully
Yeah,
you'll be able
yeah,
to make a decision going forward.
yeah. So that's something I want to help with is like as we're referring people out to osteopaths, kind of getting that review back in
The
to see like
feedback.
what
Yeah,
was actually a positive experience and kind of, maintain that, database or directory of things.
definitely. Now, the Beagleson brothers, this has been a hot topic in the health space. Parasites.
Mhm.
And it was a hot topic at the conference. And
Yes.
I'm not going to lie, I have 3 parasite cleanses at home. I spent a lot of money. Now, I,
Yep.
I bought them a year and a half ago. And for some reason, I've just said, I'm not ready. And now maybe that's just my gut saying, no, Nora, don't do it. And after hearing everyone talk about these at the conference, now I'm really second guessing it. So what are your views on parasites, especially since working with the Beagleson brothers and everybody else in this space?
Yes. Yes. This is such a hot topic. Um, they're helping us.
Okay.
They are they're showing up in a terrain that is compromised in some way. There's stagnation, there's debris, and they're eating and sort of transforming the debris into something more beneficial.
Wow. That's
And
opposite of what I've
yes,
heard.
yes. And so one of the examples that happens is uh, parasites show up to eat heavy metals. So you got heavy metals, they show up to clean it up. You do the parasite cleanse, you kill them all off, and then you still got heavy metals, and then you got to do the heavy metal cleanse. So,
Wow. And
and
heavy
we can,
metal toxicity is that's the other latest thing. So
yeah,
they now go hand in hand, and that's
yes.
wow.
So, yeah, and we can kind of see this in nature. We can see it in the soil. You know, what's your compost pile? Like it has worms. You want worms in the garden.
Yes.
You know, what are the worms doing? They're like releasing nutrition by consuming other stuff. Um, we have, for example, well, this is the fungus part, but like fungus that cleans up, oil spills or something, or the algae or the whatever. Like nature is always like cleaning up the stuff and helping us.
Yes.
So the like overall picture is like we're not at war with anything and nothing's like out to kill us. Other than maybe, each other. Um, sometimes, but
Yes.
like nothing in nature is really doing that. Um, don't go hang out with lions or bears or anything, but like they're not actively trying to kill us.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I like the other example of like, you have trash in your house and the flies show up. Like
Yes.
the flies aren't the problem. You got to take the trash out. I mean, eventually maybe the flies would eat all the trash, but that's going to take a little while. And you really just want to get rid of the trash. So, um,
That is fascinating.
yeah. And then there's tons of, I don't really have all the like studies or the science memorized, but there's tons of stuff. You could go down that route, with different books and things of like, they would remove, um, parasites from I think it was fish. So they would remove the worms from fish,
Hmm.
and the fish would then die because the fish were in a toxic river, and it turned
Wow.
out the worms were containing some of the toxicity.
Eating up the
So
toxins and allowing
yeah,
the fish to continue to survive.
yes.
So removing
So
that aspect kills off the fish.
yes,
Interesting. Wow.
when we needed to clean the water.
Correct.
Hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, it's another case of they're showing up, the firefighters showing up at the fire, and us getting all confused about what's the cause and what's the effect.
Phew. That's a tough one to wrap my head around, but I'm glad I was listening to my gut and I have not done that yet. Because I'm always,
Nice.
I'm always grasping at everything for this fertility stuff, and I just need to get my blood analyzed and hope for a path forward on that. And that's definitely one of my next steps. So,
Yes, absolutely. That I think it really like simplifies things.
and I
It's
need
almost
that.
yes.
We all do. We all
Yeah,
need simple.
right.
Why do we need to
I
keep complicating health?
yes. That's what the Bigglesons like to say. Health is simple, people are complicated.
Yes. God.
So yeah, we're like grasping for all the different things. The downside or few downsides, one, it's usually so simple that we almost don't do it. So one of the big things is getting joy. We got to get joy every day.
Ah, that has been
Um,
my journey since August, finding joy. And people are look at me like, "Why?" And I said, "Do you have a passion? Do you have a hobby? Do you have
yes.
something that just fills your soul and that you get excited to do every day, or not every day, but something you get excited over." And it can be simple, and we don't have to complicate it. For me, it's been sourdough. It's been
Awesome.
so darn frustrating, but I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna play with this. I'm gonna do this," and it gets me so excited. It's like a science project in the kitchen, and I'm all over that. But that's just an example. It can be just so simple, but joy, I think, is missing out of so many people's lives.
Absolutely.
That positivity.
Yes. The um yes. And it's so I have to laugh because yeah, it's so simple I don't do it all the time.
It's
Like, oh, whatever, I'll do this later. It's not gonna do, yeah. And that's they can show it from they can show it from the blood. There's a whole thing on pH. pH is another like popular topic in the health space,
oh,
and it's been shown that the emotions have the biggest effect on your blood pH.
wow.
Like,
Okay, I haven't gone down
it,
that rabbit hole yet.
good, you don't need
Oh Lord.
it. So I never went into the pH thing because the Weston Price people were never into it. Weston Price himself, I think, was not into the pH diet because he would go visit people and they're eating lots of the, acidic food or whatever, and like they didn't care about the pH of the
Mm,
food. Um, and so Weston Price himself wasn't into it, and then the foundation like never talks about it. So I had never explored it, and then getting to the Bigglesons, they talk about it because everybody in the holistic health space talks about it. They're like, oh, you got to be more alkaline or whatever.
gotcha.
And, eating the alkaline diet, and, which usually meant more plants and less meat. And so that was like a big deal, and drinking alkaline water and all that.
Okay, I've
And
heard of that. Gotcha. Okay,
yeah, yeah. So that's a whole trend. And from their
one of the
experience,
many.
yeah, that it doesn't really change, the diet doesn't really change the pH, the blood pH that much.
Okay.
And they actually saw that um yeah, people with the C word would their blood tended to be more alkaline, which is the reverse of what the mainstream or the holistic people tend to say.
Okay. So the
So,
opposite of what we've been thinking.
yes.
They're
But yeah, otherwise like I think the gist of it is just get more joy. Like
gotcha.
I don't deal with the like simplify it, like I don't need to know, I don't this has been that that's been another big piece I think is the like not needing to micromanage our bodies. Like our bodies know what they're doing.
Yes.
We're the ones who are like stupid about it. Um
I've
I,
noticed that. I would
yeah.
throw a supplement at everything, and that's been the latest thing. We throw a supplement at this, at this, at this, and what is that really changing? Why aren't we just I quit all supplements and I just said, okay, let's start over, reset. How can I get these nutrients? I do think we need a little help because our soil has been messed with. But how can I get the nutrients through whole food? So,
Yes. Yeah, so the and even the soil thing, um the microbiology of the soil is what brings the nutrition out.
okay,
So like if we're not killing the worms and the microbes and all of that, that will bring that back.
with all the chemicals. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not using all the chemicals, we're not trying to kill everything, and we're like working more in alignment with nature. Like that will bring the nutrition back. So it's not like gone forever.
No. Okay.
It's just kind of dormant there.
Okay.
Once we figure out how to do things better. Um, so like yeah, I think it's possible to get all of the nourishment back from the food to grow the food and raise the animals and things. And yeah, just to bring all of that back. And there's just been great examples of farms where they've just been destroyed, and it doesn't even take that long in terms of like it only takes maybe a lifetime at most, but people within 10 years or so. Polyface Farm took 50 years
Wow.
to become a pasture again. So like
It's doable.
yeah, it's doable. And it's the same thing with health of like I mean, I don't want to like brag too much that I only took a year or whatever, because of course there were many years before that. But like when we're going in the right direction, when we're like getting back on the tracks,
Yes.
I think the pieces just fall into place much easier.
Simplifying and finding the joy, finding the passion, and eating whole foods, getting the sunshine.
Yes, yes, all the basics that are so simple we don't want to do them. Yeah, I was gonna say one of the downsides of all this is that it's too simple, and then the other downside is the self-responsibility, the accountability, the like I had a hand in all of this.
The homework. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to do the work um, to resolve it. Which,
And it will be worth it, right?
yeah, and I feel like when we're on the right track, it's not as it's not as painful.
I agree. So there were a couple things I wanted to, well, what was your biggest unlearning to date throughout your journey?
Cool.
Was it the viruses, the our bodies can heal naturally? What was your
Yeah,
biggest unlearning?
I think it was the faith in nature,
The faith in nature.
the like that we're not broken.
Ah,
Like I think there are many paths to faith, many different directions,
hmm
and then I think this is the path that I came uh, through. It was a lot more intellectual and things. Like I can't. It had to be so much overwhelming evidence that my mind would go, I can't believe this any other way. Like yeah, coming up from the like everything's random, we're broken, our bodies make mistakes, just this that
blaming it on
whole
genetics.
worldview. Right, yes. Blaming it on, yeah, genes, germs, and bad luck.
Yes.
Um, and, like I had to go through so much research and so much like intellectualizing of it in order to come to this conclusion. This is the best conclusion I have right now, and it's the one that makes the most sense. Um, so like I call it faith, but it's also like I jumped through steps to get there.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, is there anything else that you wish to share, discuss? Uh, I know we covered so many broad topics today.
Yes. Um, yeah, I'll talk about genetics really quick.
Oh, I would love that.
Um,
Thank you.
yes. So,
Because
yes.
that was one of my, what is it? Genetics loads the gun, lifestyle
Mhm.
pulls the trigger. And
Yes.
for me, being able to take, I felt like that gave me control.
Hmm.
That makes sense? Like
Yes.
I'm not just dealt this hand. I can there's changes that can be made in a good way. But I would love to hear your thoughts on genetics.
Yes. So, and this is my one of my passion topics. Um, I was given a diagnosis, and I was said it was told that it was a rare genetic defect. No one else in my family has it, and they go, "Oh, that's recessive." So like mom and dad each had a copy of the bad gene, and it didn't express because it's recessive. And then there's a 1 in 4 chance because it's just random. Um, and so I have 3 siblings; they don't have it either. And then I got the 1 in 4 chance, the bad luck. I spun the wheel, and there's a whole story behind that, or there's stories that I built on top of that,
Okay.
which included the broken story, which is interesting because it's related to bones as well. Um, I try to say fractured more now instead of broken, relating to bones. But
Because words matter.
yes, so like a broken story, for some time there was a like I guess middle school and high school, like a girls won't like me story. Like the whole dating thing of like that was just in my mind of like, oh, I'm never going to find somebody. I'm going to die alone. There's never, and even the thought of like, oh, if I had kids and one of them has the same thing, like I couldn't possibly handle that. Like I can't go through this again. So like this huge curse of like, oh, I don't want to pass this down. Um, and like, no one would want to be with me and whatever. Statistically, women only date guys taller than them. Like all this kind of like mess kind of wrapped up in this label. And I see this a lot, people with the labels and they like build the identity off of it.
Yes.
So,
And then you
yes.
turn into that.
Yes. And yeah, they say I am this.
Yes.
And yeah, they own it and they have communities and they like are very insistent that it cannot be resolved. And with genetics, that happens with things where there aren't even symptoms. So this would be like the BRCA thing. They would get the diagnosis and they would mutilate themselves
Yeah.
because they thought that their body was eventually going to attack them.
Fail them. Yeah.
Yes. And so that's like no symptoms. That's, we're falling in this asymptomatic mess of now we have curses on ourselves that like aren't even expressed.
Yes.
So it's a little different for me because I do have, observable effects, changes, differences. But yeah, there's a whole lot of swirling the story on that. The other main one, like in our communities, is MTHFR, where they go, "Oh, I don't detox well," and it's
And I've
like,
got one of those. Yeah. And
yeah,
they try
yeah,
to make everything about, fertility, MTHFR, and I'm just this diagnosis.
yes. So there's like correlations with things, but there's nothing really solid on like, oh, this causes that or whatever. And I mean, if you're having symptoms, you deal with the symptoms. You don't deal with like the phantom thing
Correct.
that isn't, that doesn't have anything to do with whatever. Like, okay, you don't detox well. Clear out the stagnations, get the body aligned, um, deal with emotions, like whatever. And so I see that label being attached to people, especially to kids. And I go like, no, don't put curses on yourselves or on your family. So that is sort of the emotional aspect of this, of the like, even if it was all true, like don't do this. But then I can get into kind of the evidence of it. And the whole DNA thing, people took it was like pus from a wound, added a bunch of chemicals to it, got some result, made a story about it, said it was DNA, that it was the fixed blueprint of life. And then it keeps going and going and going. And more stories come up. And when there's inconsistencies, they make the rescue device. So epigenetics is a rescue device for like, why are genes changing? Like, oh, I thought it was the fixed blueprint of life. Oh no, it's changing because of epigenetics and it changes based on the environment and all that. Like, okay, then it's not the fixed blueprint of life.
Correct.
And then we have examples of like getting different DNA sequences from different parts of the body. So like, oh, I thought it was the same in all the cells. Like, no, but it's different in all the cells. And like it just keeps going and going.
It's not a
Um,
cohesive thought. It's
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of that was stories and assumptions. And I do have resources for like going down that rabbit hole. I don't have all of that in my mind right now. But yeah, it's DNA is a construct. We invented a model and then we somehow crossed a line and decided that it was a physical real thing. So, yeah, we could go down all that. And then the my belief, my understanding is that the blueprint to make each of us, I don't believe it's a physical chemical inside of us.
Oh, okay.
So, like, the recipe for the cake is not inside the cake. You can't even deconstruct the cake. You can't get
No.
back to the eggs.
No.
You can't, like, and you wouldn't even know that there were eggs in there unless you already knew the recipe and you knew what eggs were.
Correct.
So, like, this leads to the bigger issue of we're trying to take apart the body and make it into components But once we start to pull things apart, like how do we know we're not changing those things?
Correct. Kind of like the isolation thing. Nothing's actually been
Yes.
isolated before. The viruses haven't
Right.
been isolated before.
Right.
So
Yes. They
same with DNA. It's never
yes.
been fully
Yes.
isolated.
And this runs into a whole lot of other things. Like this unravels a lot of biochemical stuff. Um, and I'm not as solid on this, but hormones, neurotransmitters, um, a lot of other the pieces that we say that are in the body, a lot of cellular biology, like all the stuff that's in a cell.
Hmm.
Like we had to process a whole lot of things to get to that result.
Yes.
So, you go through the steps of baking the cake doesn't reflect the earlier thing. And that is what is happening with a lot of things where we're trying to extract the pieces.
More on just making health more difficult than it is.
Yes. Makes it really complicated, makes it profitable.
Very. They're selling
You
you
know,
a cure for each individual thing. They're selling you a solution, not even a cure
yes.
because they can't cure anything, but they're
Right.
selling you this product for each individual diagnosis, and more diagnosis
Hmm.
makes it more profitable.
Yes. And it's that it's all compartmentalized. So you have someone who works on one organ and you have someone who knows about the other organ, and they act as if nothing's really connected.
They don't talk to each other. Each specialist is their own
Right.
special entity when we are
Yes.
one whole. And
Yes.
yeah.
And that's been another piece that I've really gathered from the Bigglesons is they have connections that are wild. It'll be like, oh, if you have, I don't know, a symptom over on your right side or your left side or whatever, uh, on your neck or head or something, and they'll be like, oh, it's because of your left middle toe or something like that. Not that
Wow.
specific, but
Yeah, yeah.
like they see the connections because of the physical, because there's like strain patterns and scars and all kinds of other stuff that pull the body out of alignment. And so the
Mhm.
symptoms show up in different areas that seem unrelated when we're not thinking in that mindset.
Wow. But it's all
Mhm.
really related and connected.
Yes. Yes. Just as how the soil is doing and how the trees are doing are also part of how we're doing.
Ah, that's fascinating. Well, what has been your biggest takeaway through this journey? Is it that health is that simple? What would you like to share as your biggest takeaway?
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good one. It is really that
Sorry,
simple.
didn't mean to put words in your mouth.
No. Yes, I mean it's that, we're not at war. We're not like battling things. It's that yeah, we live in a supportive and symbiotic universe.
Ah, and that's very peaceful to think about.
Yes.
In my head, at least.
Yes. It takes a little while to embody, to really let it sink in. Um, but yeah, to realize like everything is supportive of us. And I would kind of hear that in sort of the more woo space, and
Mhm.
I like couldn't hear that there. And then I can hear that here. Um, yeah.
That's comforting.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, David. Where can people find you? Where's the best place?
Yes.
Best way.
Website is healingoctopus.com. That's also my Instagram handle. And then I have Facebook, is the same. I have a Telegram group now. I have a Substack. I probably have other platforms, but all of that on healingoctopus.com.
Awesome. Where you have
And
a community, right? You do calls as well, and
yes,
awesome.
yep, have monthly calls. I'm upping that a little bit, explaining more things, working on a course and a podcast, and yeah, putting more things out there.
Love it.
Doing yep, doing tech coaching, and terrain consulting, where I'm explaining terrain concepts, teaching people things, and helping kind of walk them through the process.
That's huge. Good for you. Oh, I'm
Thank
excited
you.
to continue following along and learning more for myself.
Thanks, Nora.
All righty. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for coming on today. And thank you, everyone, for joining.